The disappearance. The grand halls of the Galactic Council chamber echoed with nervous whispers and accusatory glances. Delegates from 100 different species shifted uncomfortably in their seats, their array of tentacles, appendages, and sensory organs twitching with barely contained anxiety. At the center of the massive amphitheater, Council President Zixara, a towering insectoid being, raised all four of her arms for silence. Esteemed delegates, Zixara's voice boomed through the chamber, translated simultaneously into thousands of languages. We face an unprecedented crisis. Ambassador Sarah Chen of Earth has vanished without a trace. A collective gasp rippled through the assembly. Humans were the newest members of the Galactic Council, having achieved faster-than-light travel only 50 years ago. Their rapid technological advancement and adaptability had made them both admired and feared among the older species. Ambassador Chen had been instrumental in negotiating humanity's place among the stars. Her disappearance threatened to unravel decades of delicate diplomacy. We have reason to believe, Zixara continued, her compound eyes scanning the room, that Ambassador Chen's disappearance may not have been voluntary. The chamber erupted into chaos. Accusations flew between rival factions. The Vexlor delegation, with their crystalline bodies glinting menacingly, pointed their razor-sharp appendages at the gelatinous bloboids. "You've always resented human expansion," a Vexlor shouted. "Preposterous." The lead bloboid gurgled indignantly, its amorphous form rippling with anger. "The humans have been nothing but helpful to our kind." As the arguments intensified, a small figure at the back of the chamber slipped out unnoticed. Captain Jack Harper of the Earth Defense Force made his way through the winding corridors of the Council station, his weathered face set in grim determination. He tapped his wrist communicator, encrypting the channel before speaking. "Control, this is Harper. It's worse than we thought. The Council's about to tear itself apart over Chen's disappearance. We need to act fast." A gruff voice replied, "Understood, Captain. You have full authorization to assemble a team. Find Chen before this powder keg explodes." Harper nodded, though no one could see him. "I'll need the best. And not just humans. We'll need help from other species if we're going to pull this off." "You'll have whatever you need, Jack. Just get her back." As Harper headed for the docking bay, his mind raced through potential recruits. This wasn't a job for traditional military or law enforcement. They needed people who could operate in the shadows, who knew the dark corners of the galaxy where an ambassador might disappear. They needed bounty hunters. Harper's first stop was the station's bustling marketplace, a maze of stalls and shops where beings from across the galaxy hawked their wares. He pushed through the crowd, ignoring the enticing smells of alien cuisines and the flashing advertisements for cybernetic enhancements. In a dimly lit corner, he found his first recruit. Zara 7, a mechaniform, sat motionless at a table, her robotic body powered down to conserve energy. As Harper approached, her photoreceptors flickered to life, casting an eerie blue glow. "Captain Harper." Zara 7's synthesized voice was emotionless, but Harper detected a hint of curiosity in the slight tilt of her head. "To what do I owe the pleasure?" Harper leaned in close, keeping his voice low. "I've got a job. High risk, high reward. Interested?" Zara 7's internal processes whirred as she calculated the possibilities. "Does this job involve locating your missing ambassador?" Harper's eyebrows shot up in surprise. "How did you?" "Information is my specialty, Captain," Zara 7 interrupted. "I've been monitoring Council communications. The question is, why come to me?" Harper smiled grimly. "Because you're the best tracker in 3 sectors, and you've got contacts in places humans can't reach. We need you, Zara." The mechaniform was silent for a moment, then stood with fluid grace. "Very well, Captain. I accept your offer. When do we begin?" "Immediately," Harper replied, already turning to leave. "Meet me at Docking Bay 17 in 1 hour. And Zara, pack for trouble." As they parted ways, Neva noticed the hooded figure watching from the shadows, its 4 eyes narrowing with interest. Harper's next stop took him to the station's lower levels, where the air was thick with the acrid smell of industrial chemicals and the constant hum of machinery. He made his way to a nondescript door marked Maintenance, and knocked 3 times, paused, then knocked twice more. The door slid open, revealing a cavernous workshop filled with half-assembled starship engines and piles of scrap metal. In the center of the chaos stood Grex, a hulking Urson with arms like tree trunks and a beard that would make a dwarf jealous. "Harper," Grex bellowed, his voice like gravel in a blender. "What brings a respectable EDF captain to my humble abode?" Harper clasped the Urson's massive paw, grinning despite the gravity of the situation. "Since when have you known me to be respectable, you old bear?" Grex let out a booming laugh that shook dust from the rafters. "Fair point. So, what kind of trouble are you stirring up this time?" As Harper explained the situation, Grex's expression grew serious. The Urson had once been a decorated soldier in his people's military before a disagreement with high command led to his exile. Now he used his skills as a mercenary and occasional bounty hunter. "Finding a missing ambassador, eh?" Grex stroked his beard thoughtfully. "Sounds like the kind of job that could start a war if it goes wrong." Harper nodded grimly. "That's exactly what we're trying to prevent. I need your muscle and your brain, Grex. You in?" Grex was silent for a long moment, then grinned, showing a mouthful of sharp teeth. "Well, I was getting bored with engine repair anyway. Count me in, you crazy human." As Harper left the workshop, his team was taking shape in his mind. Zara 7's tracking skills and information network, combined with Grex's strength and tactical mind, were a formidable start. But they still needed someone who could navigate the criminal underworld, someone with connections in the darkest corners of the galaxy. They needed Nova. Finding Nova proved to be the most challenging task yet. The elusive Shadowkin was notorious for her ability to disappear at will, a talent that made her both an exceptional thief and an invaluable ally in covert operations. Harper's search led him to the station's entertainment district, a riot of neon lights and pulsing music. He pushed through throngs of revelers from a dozen different species, his eyes scanning the crowd for any sign of his quarry. Just as he was about to give up, a whisper of movement caught his attention. In a shadowy alcove, a patch of darkness seemed to shift and solidify into a lithe female form. "Looking for someone, Captain." Nova's voice was melodic, with an undercurrent of amusement. Harper turned, trying not to show his surprise. "How long have you been following me?" Nova's lips curled into a smirk, her completely black eyes glinting in the low light. "Long enough to know you're putting together quite the interesting team. The question is, why?" "I think you already know," Harper replied, meeting her gaze steadily. Nova's expression turned serious. "The missing ambassador. It's all anyone's talking about in the underground. But why come to me?" "Because you're the best," Harper said simply. "And because I think you care more about galactic stability than you let on." Nova was silent for a long moment, her form seeming to waver between solid and shadow. Finally, she nodded. "All right, Harper. I'm in. But this better not be a trap." Harper allowed himself a small smile. "Would I do that to you?" "In a heartbeat," Nova replied, but there was no malice in her tone. "Docking Bay 17, I assume. I'll be there." As Nova melted back into the shadows, Harper checked his chronometer. It was almost time. He hurried back to the docking bay, his mind racing with plans and contingencies. When he arrived, he found Zara 7, Grex, and Nova already waiting. The unlikely team eyed each other warily, centuries of interspecies conflict and mistrust not easily forgotten. "All right, listen up," Harper said, his voice cutting through the tension. "I know you all have your reasons for being here, whether it's credits, curiosity, or something else entirely. But what we're about to do is bigger than any of us. Ambassador Chen's disappearance could be the spark that ignites a galactic war. We're the only ones who can stop it." He looked each of them in the eye, human to machine, to beast to living shadow. We've got different skills, different backgrounds, but right now, we're a team. The fate of the galaxy rests on us finding Sarah Chen and uncovering the truth behind her disappearance. Are you ready? Zora 7's photoreceptors pulsed with determination. Grex cracked his knuckles, a fierce grin on his face. Nova's form solidified, her stance radiating readiness. As one, they nodded. Harper allowed himself a moment of pride. This motley crew might just be the galaxy's best hope. "All right then," he said, gesturing to the sleek starship waiting in the docking bay. "Let's go hunt an ambassador." As they boarded the ship, none of them noticed the small drone that detached from the shadows, transmitting encrypted data to an unknown receiver. The hunt for Ambassador Sarah Chen had begun, and with it, a race against time to prevent an interstellar catastrophe. Little did they know, the true nature of their mission would test not only their skills, but also the very foundations of their beliefs about the galaxy and humanity's place in it. The unlikely team. The starship Nomad cut through the inky void of space, its sleek design belying the eclectic crew within. Captain Jack Harper stood on the bridge, his weathered hands gripping the console as he surveyed the star map before him. The last known coordinates of Ambassador Chen's ship blinked ominously at the edge of mapped space. "Zara," Harper called out, "any luck decrypting those transmission logs?" The mechaniform's fingers flew across the holographic interface, streams of data reflecting off her metallic skin. "Affirmative, Captain. I've isolated an anomalous signal sent just before the ambassador's ship went dark. It's curious." Harper raised an eyebrow. "Curious how?" "The signal contains fragments of an ancient precursor language," Zora 7 replied, her synthesized voice tinged with what almost sounded like excitement. "It's a dialect I've never encountered before." From his position at the weapons station, Grex let out a low whistle. "Precursors, eh? Thought those ancient bugs were just legends to scare hatchlings." "Oh, they're real all right." Nova's voice drifted from the shadows of the bridge. The Shadowkin materialized next to Harper, her obsidian eyes fixed on the star map. "And if they're involved, this mission just got a lot more interesting and dangerous." Harper's mind raced. The precursors were a mythical race said to have seeded the galaxy with life eons ago, before vanishing without a trace. If they were somehow connected to Chen's disappearance, the implications were staggering. "All right, team," Harper said, his voice cutting through the tension. "We've got a heading. But before we jump into the unknown, we need supplies and information. Set course for Nexus Station." As the Nomad changed direction, Harper couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. He glanced at Nova, who nodded almost imperceptibly. She felt it too. Nexus Station loomed before them, a massive construct of gleaming metal and pulsing energy fields. Ships of all sizes and designs swarmed around it like insects, a testament to its status as the crossroads of the galaxy. Quite the hive of scum and villainy, Grex rumbled as they approached the docking bay. Harper smirked. "That's what makes it perfect. Nova, you're up. Find out what the underground knows about Chen's disappearance. Zara, I need you to hack into the station's central database. Look for any unusual traffic patterns or transmissions. Grex, you're with me. We're going shopping." As the team split up, Harper and Grex made their way to the station's bustling marketplace. Alien vendors hawked everything from exotic weapons to questionable food items. Harper's eyes scanned the crowd, looking for one particular shop. "Ah, there it is," he muttered, leading Grex to a small stall tucked away in a corner. The sign above it flickered in a dozen languages, eventually settling on quantum quirks and quandaries. Behind the counter stood a diminutive figure with iridescent scales and far too many arms. "Captain Harper," the alien exclaimed, its voice a melodious trill. "What brings you to my humble establishment?" "Hello, Zix," Harper replied with a grin. "We need some specialized equipment." Zix's multifaceted eyes gleamed with interest. "Ooh, another off-the-books operation. How delightful. What can I interest you in?" Perhaps a pocket singularity generator, or a chronometric destabilizer. As Harper haggled with Zix, Grex kept watch, his massive frame deterring any would-be pickpockets. The Urson's keen senses picked up snippets of conversation from the crowd, most of it mundane chatter. But then, "Pest, Harper," Grex whispered, leaning down. 2 o'clock, hooded figure. Been watching us since we arrived. Harper's hand instinctively went to his blaster. Hostile. Grex shook his head. Don't think so. More like curious. Wait, they're moving. The hooded figure weaved through the crowd with inhuman grace, heading straight for Harper and Grex. As it reached them, a slender hand emerged from the row, holding a small data crystal. "If you seek the lost diplomat," a voice like silk over steel whispered, "this will guide you. But beware, for some truths are better left buried." Before Harper could react, the figure melted back into the crowd, leaving him holding the crystal and a head full of questions. Meanwhile, in the shadowy underbelly of Nexus Station, Nova moved like a ghost through dimly lit corridors and smoke-filled lounges. Her contacts in the criminal underworld were extensive, but information on Chen's disappearance was frustratingly scarce. It wasn't until she reached the Event Horizon, a notorious bar frequented by smugglers and information brokers, that she caught a break. Well, a gravelly voice called out as Nova entered. If it isn't the galaxy's favorite shadow. Nova turned to see a grizzled Calixian lounging in a booth, his tentacles wrapped around a glass of something that glowed an unhealthy shade of green. "Vex," she acknowledged with a nod. "Still pickling yourself in that swill, I see." Vex chuckled, a sound like rocks in a blender. "It keeps me warm at night. But I doubt you're here for drinking advice. What brings a fine, upstanding citizen like yourself to my humble corner of the universe?" Nova slid into the booth, her form rippling like oil on water. "I'm looking for information on a missing diplomat, human-female, last seen near the Outer Rim." Vex's bioluminescent spots pulsed with interest. "Ah, the infamous Ambassador Chen. Yes, I've heard whispers. Dangerous whispers, Nova. The kind that get people killed." "I can handle myself," Nova replied coolly. "What do you know?" Vex leaned in close, his voice dropping to a barely audible hiss. "They say she found something out there in the black. Something old, something powerful. And now, something wants her silenced." A chill ran down Nova's spine. "Who? The Council?" Vex shook his head. "Think bigger, Shadow Walker. Much bigger." As Nova pressed for more details, across the station, Zara 7 was deep in the digital realm. Her consciousness flowed through Nexus Station's networks, sifting through terabytes of data in milliseconds. Suddenly, she encountered a firewall unlike anything she'd ever seen. It pulsed with an alien energy, almost alive. "Fascinating," Zara murmured to herself. "This code structure, it's not council, not corporate. It's older." As she probed the firewall, a warning flashed through her systems. She was being traced. Zara quickly disengaged, but not before catching a glimpse of what lay behind the barrier. What she saw made her synthetic heart skip a beat. Back on the Nomad, the team regrouped, each bringing pieces of a puzzle that was growing more complex by the minute. "So let me get this straight," Harper said, pacing the bridge. "We've got a mysterious data crystal, rumors of an ancient discovery, and a firewall that predates known civilization. What the hell have we stumbled into?" Zara 7's photoreceptors flickered with concern. "Captain, the data I glimpsed, it suggested that Ambassador Chen's disappearance is connected to something far larger than council politics. There were star charts, Captain, of regions beyond the known galaxy." Grex growled low in his throat. "You saying the humans found a way past the barrier? That's impossible. No ship can survive out there." Nova's form shimmered with agitation. "Maybe they found something that could, something precursor." Harper held up the data crystal, its facets catching the starlight. "Well, there's only one way to find out. Zara, plug this in. Let's see where this rabbit hole leads us. As Zara interfaced with the crystal, the ship's holographic display came to life. A star map materialized, showing a path that led to the very edge of charted space and beyond. By the cosmic egg, Grex breathed. It's a route through the barrier. Harper's jaw clenched. All right, team. Looks like we're heading into uncharted territory. Whatever took Chen, whatever she discovered out there, it's big enough to reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. We may be the only ones who can stop it. As the Nomad's engines hummed to life, preparing for the jump to light speed, Harper couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the precipice of something monumental, something that would change the course of galactic history forever. Little did they know, hidden in the shadows of Nexus Station, a figure watched the Nomad depart, glowing eyes narrowed, and a hand reached for a communicator. They're on the move, a voice whispered. Alert the Guardians, the humans must not reach the Nexus. As the Nomad vanished into hyperspace, the real adventure was just beginning. The fate of Ambassador Chen, the secrets of the precursors, and the future of the galaxy itself hung in the balance. And at the center of it all, a team of unlikely heroes, united by circumstance and driven by a thirst for truth, hurtled towards a destiny none of them could have imagined. The hunt for Ambassador Saro Chen had taken an unexpected turn, leading them to the threshold of cosmic mysteries and ancient powers. But as they raced towards the unknown, one question lingered. Were they the hunters or the hunted? Beyond the barrier. The Nomad shuddered as it pierced the shimmering veil of the barrier, that mysterious cosmic membrane separating known space from the uncharted void beyond. Alarms blared throughout the ship as systems struggled to cope with the alien energies surrounding them. Hull integrity at 68% and dropping. Zora 7's voice rang out, her metallic fingers a blur across the ship's controls. These energies are unlike anything in my databanks. Captain Harper gritted his teeth, his knuckles white as he gripped the helm. Reroute power from non-essential systems. Grex, I need those shields at maximum. The Urson warrior growled in affirmation, his massive frame hunched over the engineering console. I'm giving her all she's got, Captain. But this blasted barrier is eating through our defenses like acid. Nova materialized next to Harper, her shadowy form rippling with tension. We can't turn back now. Look. Through the view screen, a sight unfolded that stole the breath from their lungs. The oppressive darkness of the void gave way to a tapestry of colors and light unlike anything they'd ever seen. Massive structures floated in the cosmic ether, geometric shapes of impossible scale, pulsing with ethereal energy. By the cosmic egg, Grex whispered, awe overwhelming his usual gruffness. Are those precursor artifacts? Zora 7's voice held a note of reverence. Affirmative. These structures predate our oldest civilizations by millions of years. The data, it's overwhelming my systems. As the Nomad pushed deeper into this uncharted realm, the ship's sensors began picking up a faint signal. Harper's eyes widened as he recognized the pattern. It's an Earth distress beacon. Chen's ship, it's here. The team watched in stunned silence as they approached a massive structure that dwarfed even the largest space stations they'd ever encountered. It resembled a giant, multifaceted crystal, each face reflecting the surrounding cosmos in dizzying patterns. The beacon's coming from inside that thing, Nova observed, her obsidian eyes narrowing. But how do we get in? As in answer to her question, a section of the crystal's surface shimmered and parted, revealing an entrance large enough for the Nomad to pass through. Harper exchanged glances with his crew. Well, team, looks like we're expected. With a mixture of trepidation and excitement, Harper guided the Nomad into the crystal structure. As they passed through the threshold, the ship's systems suddenly went dark, plunging them into eerie silence. We've lost power, Zora exclaimed, her photoreceptors providing the only illumination on the bridge. All systems are offline. Before panic could set in, a soft, pulsing light filled the ship's interior. A disembodied voice, simultaneously ancient and youthful, echoed through their minds. Welcome, seekers. You have traversed the barrier and proven yourselves worthy of audience. Please disembark and join us. The team shared uneasy glances. Harper took a deep breath, steeling himself. All right, folks. Looks like we're going in. Weapons ready, but don't fire unless I give the order. We don't know what we're dealing with here. As they stepped off the Nomad, the crystal chamber around them came alive with swirling patterns of light and color. The floor beneath their feet was solid, yet seemed to shift with each step as if alive. Captain, Zara's voice was hushed with awe. I'm detecting energy readings off the charts. This place, it's not just a structure, it's a living entity. Before Harper could respond, a figure materialized before them. It was humanoid in shape, but its form constantly shifted, as if struggling to maintain a single appearance. Greetings, children of the young races, the being's voice resonated in their minds. I am the curator, keeper of the Nexus. You have come seeking answers about your lost ambassador. Harker stepped forward, his hand instinctively resting on his blaster. That's right. Where is Sarah Chen? What have you done with her? The curator's form rippled, and for a moment, Harper thought he saw a flicker of amusement. Your ambassador Chen is safe, Captain Harper. In fact, she has been instrumental in setting recent events in motion. From the shadows behind the curator, a familiar figure emerged. Sarah Chen, looking none the worse for wear, strode towards them with purpose in her eyes. Jack, she nodded to Harper, then to the rest of the team. I'm glad you made it. We have much to discuss, and not much time. Harper's relief at seeing Chen unharmed quickly gave way to confusion. Sarah, what's going on? The entire galaxy thinks you've been kidnapped. Chen's expression was grave. In a way, I was, but not by force. The curator showed me the truth, Jack, about our place in the universe, about the cycles of creation and destruction that have shaped reality itself. We're on the brink of something monumental. As Chen spoke, the chamber around them transformed, becoming a vast cosmic theater. Stars, galaxies, and entire universes swirled around them in a dizzying display. The curator's voice echoed through the void. For eons, we precursors have watched over the younger races, guiding their evolution from afar. But now a great threat looms, one that could unravel the very fabric of existence. Images flashed before them, terrifying visions of cosmic horrors beyond comprehension, of entire galaxies being devoured by living darkness. The Void Hunters, Chen explained, her voice tight. A race of extra-dimensional beings that feed on entire universes. They set their sights on our reality, and they're coming. Soon. Grex's growl rumbled through the chamber. And what do a bunch of humans and their ragtag allies hope to do against such a threat? The curator's form solidified, taking on an appearance that mixed aspects of all their species. That, brave Vosen, is why you are here. Humanity, in all its adaptability and determination, holds the key to unlocking the precursor legacy, weapons and technology capable of repelling the Void Hunters. Nova's shadowy form rippled with skepticism. And you expect us to believe that you've chosen us, out of all the species in the galaxy, to be your champions. Chen stepped forward, her eyes blazing with conviction. Not just us, Nova. All of us. Every species, every civilization. This threat will take all of us working together to overcome. That's why I came here, to forge an alliance that transcends our petty conflicts. As the implications of Chen's words sank in, Harper felt the weight of the galaxy settling on his shoulders. They had come seeking a missing ambassador, but had stumbled upon a truth far greater and more terrifying than they could have imagined. So, Harper said, his voice steady despite the turmoil in his mind, what's our next move? The curator waved a hand, and a holographic map of the galaxy appeared before them, dotted with pulsing lights. These are the locations of precursor vaults containing the knowledge and tools you'll need. But be warned, the Void Hunters have agents in our reality, working to prevent you from succeeding. Trust no one outside this chamber. Chen turned to Harper and his team, her expression a mixture of hope and determination. "I know this is a lot to take in, but we're the galaxy's best hope. Are you with me?" As Harper looked at his unlikely crew, the stoic mechaniform, the fierce, fearsome warrior, the enigmatic shadowkin, and now the visionary human ambassador, he knew their lives would never be the same. They stood at the precipice of a cosmic war, with the fate of all existence hanging in the balance. With a nod that sealed their cosmic pact, Harper spoke for them all. "Let's save reality." As the curator began to unveil the ancient secrets of the precursors and plans for the greatest alliance in galactic history took shape, one thing became crystal clear: the hunt for Ambassador Chen had been just the beginning. The real adventure, one that would challenge their skills, test their bonds, and push the very limits of what it meant to be sentient beings in a vast, dangerous universe, was only just beginning. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath as its unlikeliest of teams prepared to embark on a quest that would reshape the cosmos. For in the face of annihilation, it would be their diversity, their unique strengths, and their unbreakable spirit that might just tip the scales in favor of life itself. As they delved deeper into the precursor's knowledge, none of them noticed the small, insectoid drone that had hitched a ride on the Nomad, its multifaceted eyes recording everything. In the depths of uncharted space, an ancient game of cosmic chess had begun, and the first move had been made. The cosmic chessboard. The Nomad streaked through the star-studded void, its hull gleaming with newfound precursor enhancements. Captain Jack Harper stood at the helm, his eyes fixed on the swerving cosmic map before him. Each pulsing light represented a precursor vault, a repository of knowledge and technology that could turn the tide against the impending Void Hunter invasion. "ET Day to the Zeta 9 Vault, 2 minutes," Zora 7 announced, her voice tinged with an excitement that belied her mechanical nature. The mechaniform had integrated some of the precursor data into her systems, expanding her capabilities beyond anything they'd thought possible. Grex lumbered onto the bridge, his massive frame now adorned with shimmering precursor armor. "I still can't believe we're on a blasted scavenger hunt, while the fate of the universe hangs in the balance," he grumbled, though there was a glint of anticipation in his eyes. Nova materialized from the shadows, her form now crackling with dark energy. "Would you prefer a frontal assault on an enemy we barely understand, furball?" she teased, her obsidian eyes twinkling. Before Grex could retort, alarms blared throughout the ship. Ambassador Chen's voice cut through the chaos. "Multiple bogies incoming. Void Hunter scouts." The view screen lit up with a terrifying sight. A swarm of pitch-black vessels, their forms shifting and writhing as if alive, bore down on the Nomad. "Battle stations," Harper barked, his hands dancing across the controls. "Zara, get those new shields online. Grex, man the quantum disruptor. Nova, I need you on phase shift defense." As the crew sprang into action, Harper couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come. In the weeks since their encounter with the curator, they'd transformed from a ragtag group of misfits into a finely tuned cosmic strike team. The Void Hunters struck first, lancing beams of pure darkness slicing through space. But the Nomad's new defenses held, a shimmering barrier of multidimensional energy absorbing the assault. "Eat quantum death, you cosmic cockroaches," Grex roared as he unleashed the quantum disruptor. Beams of scintillating energy lashed out, causing several Void Hunter ships to implode in spectacular fashion. Nova's shadowy form danced across the ship's hull, her newfound powers allowing her to phase the Nomad in and out of reality, causing enemy fire to pass harmlessly through them. "Harper," Chen called out, "we can't waste time here. The vault is unprotected." Gritting his teeth, Harper made a split-second decision. "Zara, plot a microjump. Get us to that vault." Microjump to an untested location. The risks air. "Just do it." Harper cut her off, bracing himself for what came next. The stars blurred around them as the Nomad performed the impossible, a precision faster than light jump over a minuscule distance. They rematerialized directly in front of a massive structure floating in space, its architecture a mind-bending blend of technology and organic forms. The Zeta-9 vault, Chen breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. But their amazement was short-lived. The Void Hunter swarm regrouped, surrounding the vault and the Nomad. "We need to get inside," Harper shouted. "Zara, can you interface with the vault's systems?" Zara's photoreceptors pulsed rapidly. "Affirmative, but I'll need time." Their firewalls are unlike anything. A massive explosion rocked the ship. Harper's heart sank as he saw a Void Hunter dreadnought emerge from the darkness, its size dwarfing their vessel. "Time is something we don't have," Nova hissed, her form flickering with tension. As if in answer to their desperation, a section of the vault began to shift and open. A voice, ancient and powerful, resonated through their minds. "Children of the younger races, you have proven your worth. Enter and claim your birthright." Without hesitation, Harper maneuvered the Nomad into the opening, which sealed behind them just as the dreadnought unleashed a barrage that would have annihilated them. Inside, they found themselves in a vast chamber that defied the laws of physics. Platforms of solid light floated in a sea of swirling energy, each one holding artifacts and technology beyond their wildest imaginations. "By the cosmic egg," Grex whispered, his usual bravado replaced by awe. As they disembarked, holographic interfaces sprang to life around them. The voice spoke again. "Welcome to the Forge of Creation. Here, the weapons to combat the Void Hunters await. But beware, power without wisdom brings only destruction." Chen stepped forward, her eyes blazing with determination. "We're ready. Show us what we need to do." What followed was a crash course in cosmic engineering that pushed the boundaries of their comprehension. They learned of the Void Hunters' origins, a race born in the spaces between universes, feeding on the energy of dying realities. They discovered the nature of the multiverse itself, a grand tapestry of interconnected dimensions. Most importantly, they began to understand the tools at their disposal, quantum-entangled communication devices that could coordinate a galaxy-wide defense, reality anchors to prevent the Void Hunters from warping space-time, and at the heart of it all, the cosmic siphon, a device capable of redirecting the Void Hunters' corrupting energy back against them. As Harper absorbed the torrent of information, a realization struck him. This is bigger than just our galaxy, isn't it? The entire multiverse is at stake. The voice seemed to resonate with approval. "You understand, Captain. The Void Hunters threaten all of existence. Your mission is not just to save your reality, but to forge an alliance across dimensions." Nova, who had been uncharacteristically quiet, suddenly spoke up. "There's something you're not telling us. What's the catch?" A moment of heavy silence filled the chamber before the voice responded, perceptive, shadowkin. "The power to save reality comes at a price. To activate the cosmic siphon, it requires a living consciousness to guide it. A sacrifice." The weight of those words settled over the team like a shroud. They exchanged glances, each contemplating the enormity of what lay before them. Harper's voice was steady as he broke the silence. "We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, we have a galaxy to unite and a multiversal alliance to forge." As if on cue, alarms blared throughout the vault. The voice spoke urgently. "The Void Hunters breach our defenses. You must go now. Take what you have learned and prepare your people. When the time comes, you must return here to make your final stand." The team scrambled back to the Nomad, their minds reeling from the revelations and the weight of their new purpose. As the vault's doors opened, they saw the Void Hunter armada regrouping for another assault. "Hold onto your tentacles," Harper shouted as he engaged the Nomad's enhanced drives. They shot out of the vault like a cosmic bullet, weaving through the enemy fleet with impossible agility. As they entered hyperspace, leaving the vault and the Void Hunters behind, a tense silence filled the bridge. Each of them grappled with the knowledge they gained and the sacrifices that lay ahead. Finally, Grex spoke, his voice uncharacteristically somber. So, we've got the keys to save the universe. Now comes the hard part, convincing everyone else to work together. Chen nodded, a wry smile on her face. Who would have thought that uniting the galaxy would be the easy part of our mission? As the Nomad hurtled through hyperspace, carrying with it the hopes of countless realities, Harper couldn't shake the feeling that their greatest challenges still lay ahead. They had the tools, the knowledge, and the will to face the Void Hunters. But as they raced against time to build a coalition capable of saving existence itself, one question burned in Harper's mind. When the final moment came, who among them would make the ultimate sacrifice? The cosmic chess game had entered its most crucial phase. The pieces were in motion, the stakes unimaginably high. And somewhere in the vast, uncaring universe, the Void Hunters gathered their strength for the coming storm. The battle for reality itself was about to begin. The multiversal gambit. The grand hall of the Galactic Council erupted into chaos as Captain Jack Harper finished his presentation. Holograms of Void Hunter ships and precursor technology still hovered in the air, casting an eerie glow over the assembled delegates. Preposterous, bellowed Danthor, the Craxian ambassador, his tentacles writhing with indignation. You expect us to believe that the fate of all reality rests on the words of a human and his band of misfits. Ambassador Chen stepped forward, her eyes flashing with determination. I've seen it with my own eyes, counselors. The Void Hunters are real, and they're coming. We need to act now. As arguments broke out across the chamber, Harper exchanged glances with his crew. Zara 7 stood impassively, her enhanced sensors scanning a room for potential threats. Grex's massive hand rested on his quantum disruptor, ready for trouble. Nova's shadowy form rippled with tension, her obsidian eyes darting from delegate to delegate. Suddenly, the lights in the chamber flickered and died. A collective gasp rose from the assembled aliens as the stars outside the viewports seemed to blink out one by one. They're here, Harper whispered, his blood running cold. Before panic could set in, a shimmering portal materialized in the center of the room. Through it stepped a being that defied description, a swirling mass of dark energy vaguely shaped like a humanoid, its face a void of swirling galaxies. Greetings, children of light, the being's voice echoed through their minds, simultaneously beautiful and terrifying. I am Zixarith, emissary of the Cosmic Conclave. The chamber fell into stunned silence. Harper's hand instinctively went to his blaster, but Chen placed a restraining hand on his arm. Zixarith's form rippled as it surveyed the room. Your champions speak the truth. The Void Hunters threaten not just your reality, but all realities. We of the Cosmic Conclave have watched your struggles, your triumphs. Now, we offer you a choice. Join us in the greatest alliance the multiverse has ever known, or face annihilation alone. Holographic displays sprang to life around the chamber, showing glimpses of other realities, some eerily similar to their own, others wildly different. In each, they saw versions of themselves preparing for the coming storm. By the cosmic egg, Grex breathed, his eyes wide as he watched an alternate version of himself leading a charge against shadowy forces. Zara 7's photoreceptors pulsed rapidly as she processed the influx of interdimensional data. Fascinating. The mathematical probabilities of such an alliance are incalculable. Nova's form solidified as she stepped forward, addressing Zixarith directly. And what guarantee do we have that this isn't some elaborate trap? That you're not in league with the Void Hunters yourselves? The emissary's form shimmered with what might have been amusement. A wise question, Shadowkin. You have only our word, and the evidence of your own eyes. With a gesture, Zixarith opened a window to another reality. The assembled delegates watched in horror as a galaxy, not unlike their own, was consumed by a tide of living darkness. Billions of lives snuffed out in an instant. That, Zixarith intoned, is the fate that awaits all realities if we do not stand united. The mood in the chamber shifted palpably. Fear gave way to determination as the gravity of the situation sank in. Council President Zixara rose, her insectoid features set in grim resolve. We have squabbled amongst ourselves for too long. If there was ever a time for unity, it is now. The Galactic Council votes to join this cosmic conclave. A cheer went up from the assembled delegates, a cacophony of alien voices united in purpose. Harper turned to his crew, a mix of excitement and trepidation on his face. Well, folks, looks like we just went from galactic heroes to multiversal champions. Anyone want to back out now? Grex cracked his knuckles, a fierce grin on his ursine features. And missed the chance to punch void hunters across realities? Not a chance, Captain. Zara Seven's usually stoic demeanor softened. My programming compels me to protect sentient life. There is no greater calling than this. Nova's shadowy form solidified, determination etched in her obsidian eyes. I've spent my life hiding in the shadows. Time to step into the light and make a difference. Chen placed a hand on Harper's shoulder, her smile a beacon of hope. We started this journey together, Jack. We'll see it through to the end. As the council chamber buzzed with activity, delegates rushing to prepare their civilizations for the coming war, Zixrith approached Harper and his team. You have set in motion events that will echo across the multiverse, the emissary intoned. But your greatest trial is yet to come. The cosmic siphon must be activated, and the price must be paid. Harper's jaw clenched as he remembered the precursor vault's warning. A living consciousness to guide the siphon, a sacrifice. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, Harper said, his voice steady. For now, we have a multiverse to save. Zixrith's form rippled in what might have been approval. Then let us begin. The cosmic conclave awaits. With a gesture, the emissary opened a portal large enough for the nomad to pass through. Beyond it, Harper could see a realm of swirling energies and impossible geometries, the space between realities. As they boarded the nomad, each member of the crew felt the weight of countless lives resting on their shoulders. They were no longer just a band of misfits on a wild adventure. They were the tip of the spear in a war for the very fabric of existence. The ship's engines hummed to life, enhanced by precursor technology. Harper took a deep breath, his hands steady on the controls. All right, team, let's make history across every reality. With a burst of energy, the nomad entered the portal. As it closed behind them, the assembled delegates of the Galactic Council watched in awe, for in that moment, they knew that the fate of all existence rested in the hands of an unlikely group of heroes who had started their journey as little more than a bounty hunter and his ragtag crew. As the nomad vanished into the multiversal ether, the real battle was about to begin. Across countless realities, forces of light and darkness prepared for a conflict that would shake the very foundations of existence. And at the center of it all, a team bound by friendship, forged in adventure, and destined for greatness. The hunt for Ambassador Chen had led them to the threshold of cosmic war. Now, they would write the next chapter in the story of the multiverse itself, for in the face of annihilation, it would be their courage, their unity, and their unwavering spirit that might just tip the scales in favor of life itself. As the nomad hurtled through the mind-bending realm between realities, none of them could shake the feeling that their greatest challenges and their greatest triumphs still lay ahead. The multiversal gambit had begun, and the fate of all existence hung in the balance.